Hello everyone, it's PHARMDiTE from justpHARMDiTE.net. Welcome to the episode of PHARMDiTE. Today we're talking about the calculation factors. Now, what are calculation factors, or what are the clotting factors? Basically, they are sets of proteins that are activated via proteolysis, basically involving breakdown of protein. These proteins are needed for what? Hemostasis. And you're thinking, what's hemostasis? Hemostasis happens to be, obviously, what it sounds like: hemo, blood, stasis, stoppage, blockage. So you're trying to prevent blood loss. That is what hemostasis basically being in layman's term. Basically, in medical terms, so don't think those words are just supposed to mean. They're not meant to confuse. It's just basically what it is there. Hemostasis, proteolysis, lysis of protein, hemostasis, stoppage of blood loss. Beautiful. Once you got that, there you go. I've got nothing to lose. Now, what is clotting factors? Jumping down right into the topic of the day. Now, I'm just going to teach you basically how not to forget the clotting factors in the right order. But before we jump into that, we have to understand what exactly it entails to memorize them in a systematic order as not to confuse them in exam. Now, there are 13 clotting factors in order of numbering. Now, there are 13 clotting factors in order of numbering. But however, there are just 12 in total when you count them, because you don't have clotting factor 6. So eventually, once you have these factors noted in your brain, you don't have to forget it again, because you expect to number them systematically from row number 1 to 13, but you know that you're having to count 12, and then there is no factor 6. That's why it's 12. And I know I told you earlier on that clotting factors are proteins. Well, maybe I lied. Alright, there's an exception to that rule, being calcium. Calcium number 4. Clotting factor number 4 is an ion, a cation for that matter. So basically, it is not a protein. So you want to remember this fact, and then you get to jump into the process of understanding what it is, know them systematically. Now, clotting factor 1, FBT. I expect to call it FBT. Fibrinogen, prothrombin, tissue factor, or thromboplastin. Basically, there's FBT. Now, how I don't forget this is that I say that in web design term, FTP is a file transfer protocol that enables you upload files to the website. Then figure FBT here as process of uploading clots to sites of injury. Same thing basically, but just turned around, right? Instead of FTP, I said FBT. So fibrinogen, prothrombin, and tissue factor. Now, obviously, I remember I told you that the fourth one is calcium, the only cation, the only ion present. So that's basically easiest source. And then, now it gets even easier. The fifth clotting factor is basically similar with that of the sixth, because they've got something in common in the sense that they all start with pro. So how do you remember them? Proacelerin is the fifth. I know there's not 6, so there's 7. So proconvertin is the second, because A comes before C in the alphabetical order. So proacelerin number 5 and proconvertin number 7. If you want to remember the other name being label and stable factor, all you just want to do is that L comes before S. So proacelerin becomes label factor, whereas proconvertin is the stable factor. Now from 8, 9 and 10 downwards becomes easier. Clotting factor 8 is basically anti-hemophilic factor A. Clotting factor 9, same thing, anti-hemophilic factor B. Then we're expecting that clotting factor 10 should be anti-hemophilic factor C, but I'm like, no, not that. It then becomes SWAT pro factor. That is what it is. It just skips the rule of AB. And then the C comes as the 11th clotting factor, being anti-hemophilic factor C. As the 11th clotting factor, you see here. And then lastly, my favorite factor is the contact or glass factor. Some persons call it the Hageman factor. That's the factor number 12. Don't you ever forget Hageman factor. Factor number 12. It's got 3 names: Hageman, contact factor, and the glass factor. Those are the 3 names it's got. So basically, anyone you call it basically works for it. And the last one obviously is just the FSF, which is the fibrin stabilizing factor, or the lucky Laurent factor. But I always try to remember the lucky Laurent factor because lucky sounds like something's lacking behind, right? Lucky, then lacks behind. So I expect the lucky Laurent to be the one at the bottom. Alright, so 13 clothing factor, the 13th clothing factor happens to be the lucky Laurent factor. Alright, thank you very much, and hope you guys understood today's topic, and it's beautiful. Merci, gracias, spasibo, and thank you.